Good morning. How are you? Are you there yet? You are.
Good afternoon, Nicola 1201.
Yes, it is technically speaking the afternoon, I suppose. So we discovered the other day that saying Kalispera, which we thought meant good afternoon, actually means good all day until you start saying Gally Nicta.
I'm so pleased we sent ahead of us to Greece a couple of fine linguists.
I know. So where does Gallimera fit into all this? That's what we want to know.
As if I could give a toss, but do report back.
Welcome to Own It, Your Business and Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show.
It's just hopeless, really. We have learned some new words. They say colour when they want to know how you are, and you have to say colour Polly if you're feeling good.
Okay.
So that's
probably a good idea to say that anyway, since you don't have the language skills to tell them what's wrong with you if you're not feeling good.
You just gesticulate. You point at the part that hurts, don't you?
Not really. Well, it depends how well you know the stranger, I guess. I don't want to be pointing at my parts to strangers.
Yeah, pointing at your parts. You could. Nothing is funnier than me trying to tell the man behind the butcher's counter that we needed nappy sacks yesterday. I said, I started off easy enough. Have you got a baby? He looked a bit startled, but he said yes. And I said, do you know nappies? And he said, And I said, we need. And I was trying to mime putting a nappy, taking a.
No, sorry, stop. I've got to stop you here. Why? This is to paraphrase a famous line from Monty Python. Why would you try and buy nappy sacks from the butchers?
Well, I was trying to find someone in the bloody shop who could tell me where to get nappy sacks, because they're not in the places you would expect, i.e. bin liners or nappies.
And why did you want nappy sacks?
Yeah, we really don't want to go into that just yet.
No. Okay, good. I can imagine, actually, because I got some for the same purpose when I was anticipating travelling.
So on that delightful note,
yes,
made all our readers.
Yes, let's start to talk about. Welcome everybody. Let's start today by talking about poo bins. I think we were talking about poo bins, weren't we?
Yeah. And I just said readers again instead of listeners, but that's another challenge indeed, isn't it?
And the butcher will be giving you a wide berth from now on.
Well, he does try to anyway. I must confess, he sees me wheeling my trolley down. And he goes, "Oh, he's little." You can see in his eyes. Oh no, she's going to try and talk to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, how's your week been?
I haven't really thought about an answer to that question. I was going to tell you instead about my impending day out on Friday this week.
Okay.
I'm going to the passport office to get a new passport.
That's exciting.
It is exciting, yes.
Does that mean something?
It doesn't mean anything yet. It means the potential of 10 years of adventures, obviously. I'm going. You don't have to go. If I wasn't date sensitive, which I suspect I might be, I'd just do it all online or in the post. But I don't really trust my passport to the post is the answer. So I'm having a day out in Victoria on Friday. I've paid a premium sum for a while you wait service. It is 4 hours. I will have to amuse myself for 4 hours. That is time for me to come home and go back up again, actually, which I might do, but we shall see. So it's a week of a new passport. It began, as you probably saw on Facebook last week, with the first part of the adventure, which was having a passport photograph taken.
You crack me up with that.
Which I look precisely, I look like the undead.
You look what?
I look like the undead.
Oh no, it can't be that bad, surely.
It is that bad. I look awful. I mean, I didn't look that great. When you're sitting on the funny little stool that twists up and down, and you're looking at, you can see what you look like in the frame. It didn't look that good in the frame, but when it came out in the picture, it looked a lot worse than it looked in the frame. I mean, I'm not a photogenic person. I'd much rather meet you in real life than show my picture, because I'm not photogenic, but I'm perfectly happy with the way I look in real life. So I'm quite happy to meet you and go, because once you're animated and smiley and the energy comes out of you, it's fine. I've got no issues with the way I look. I just don't take a good picture.
I've been living for the last 10 years with a picture that was taken after I'd lost 5 stone. So I was at my very thinnest and all my hair had fallen out. So my hair was very thin and I was very thin. But I actually looked quite happy about it. But now, and the funny thing is, for 10 years ever since, passport officers have been looking at the picture and looking at me and looking back at the picture and looking at me again. So
that must happen. That must happen to half of the female passport holders of the world, surely.
Yeah. At least I've got to get mine done before July, and at least this time it will actually look like me.
Well, I'm doing mine. I don't actually need mine until October, but you can add quite a lot. You can add your tail end bit onto your new one. And I thought, right, well, Friday's my day off. Might as well go and have a lovely day in Victoria. So that's my plan for the week, Nick. I'll let you know how it goes.
Oh well, it sounds almost as exciting as our days out.
Quite. I mean, it's obviously it's dealing with the government, so it won't be exciting at all. But it's exciting what it promises. A new passport is 10 years of adventures. That's how I'm looking at it.
Absolutely. So my week has been an eventful week and an exciting week. There's a PR update in that the Evening Argus journalist promised my bit was coming out on Tuesday, but I haven't seen it online yet, and I don't know if any of my family could stir their stumps to go and buy an actual physical copy. I doubt it. But I have had an unexpected bit of PR from the Perea Stimani website, which is the local website. And she's put me on the front page with links to my V-zines, because somehow she's picked up, the editor of Perea Stimani has picked up that I'm based in Super, which has blown my cover in Toastekis quite dramatically, because we like to skulk in and have a glue wine and skulk out again. But now everybody knows who I am and what I'm doing. And, I find myself...
Interesting thought there, that the 2 pieces of PR that have been picked up are your local websites for your 2 homes.
Yes, it is. Well, the local angle is very strong, obviously.
Well, it's what my brother always used to say when I lived in Oxford. The local paper there, the Oxford Mail, used to make out that, an Oxford man was at the centre of the news wherever it happened in the world. David used to say Oxford man in nuclear holocaust. The Oxford Mail would find a way to make it all about their local person. And I suppose that's the brief, now I think about it.
That's the skill.
Of a local paper, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. You want to know about local people. Local. What's that television show? Was that? I can't remember what it was now. It was a comedy show. You used to go local things for local people. You don't know what.
And funnily enough, the reason why it didn't strike me as obvious is I'm not really interested in local anything.
Yeah. But we're not. We're the norm. Most people are. So the other thing is my Facebook ads update. I've got to tell you about that, but I'll come back.
Yes.
First of all, I published a new book. I did it in 2 hours on Saturday afternoon, with an hour in the middle of the night when I woke up and found that I could just press a button and do the Kindle thing on my mobile phone, which was extremely exciting. And Nelson, I found this morning, it's got to #1 on Amazon.
Is that the paperback or the Kindle? Because I couldn't find the Kindle, only the paperback this morning.
Well, they are both there. It's just I made a mistake. I thought that if you sent out the link to the paperback, they'd automatically be offered the Kindle alongside. Because when I did it, I was.
Yeah.
So then I had to resend the Kindle links, because everyone was going, "Is it on Kindle?" I thought, yes. But obviously, it wasn't that easy to find. So, as you've discovered, so I had to remail. It's the Kindle version, but it's in 2 categories. It's in entrepreneurship, and it's number 12 in hot new releases there, and it's number 1 in home-based business, which is rather exciting. And when you look at the bestseller charts, the hot new releases are shown alongside the top of the bestseller charts, and I'm number 1 there. So I'm quite excited after this show to go and look at my sales so far figures. But I used CreateSpace, and it really was. I mean, the hardest thing was uploading the cover. It wasn't even hard, I had to choose a different cover because I couldn't work out how to upload my own cover. But I did take the precaution of working out beforehand whether I would be able to change anything after I'd uploaded and published. And it's a very easy matter to do so. So I might change the cover yet to the one I had designed, or I might not. I can't decide yet. But the point is that it didn't take very long, and it was absolutely 100% free. And now I've got a book selling on Amazon, making money, which it wasn't before Saturday.
Yes.
Which is really exciting. On the other creative front, Nelson has now secured himself a twice-monthly radio show locally, and he's also got his latest new tune signed to a record label. So I had to look after his recording contract.
Oh, very good.
He's the quieter one of the two, but he's hustling along with the best of them.
So sorry. Tell me again about his tune. His tune has got a record deal.
Yeah, well, it's an EP, which means it's 4 tracks on a...
Darling, I remember what an EP is. You don't need to remind me what an EP is, please. I was there when they were real.
I know. They used to be physically real, didn't they? It was a hybrid between a single and an album. So
yes, it was.
Yeah. So he's been signed by a record label, which is being started. It's a brand new one, and it's being started by one of the teachers at his college. Now he's at Northbrook doing music and music production. And it's a very well-renowned course, so people do keep an eye on it. Lots of good people have come out of it and got into the music industry proper. So that's very exciting, and he's very excited. So I had to read a contract, which I haven't done for a very long time.
Yeah.
And then the same week, he announces that he's just secured a radio show twice monthly on the World Jazz and I think it was World Jazz and Hip Hop.
Did he do it? Did it come to him, or did he go to it?
No, he hustled for it. He heard about the radio station starting up in Brighton to showcase the best new talent, and he sent them in a mixtape, and they loved it, and they've invited him to have a show.
Is it a 4 a.m. slot, or has he got a?
No, it's an late afternoon slot.
Very good.
I know, drive time, as they call it.
Yes, drive time in Brighton, is it?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But, it's all about the fact that. I'm not saying this about it. I mean, I'm really inordinately proud of them, obviously, but it's about the fact that you can just by keeping your ears open and taking some action and hustling a little bit, you can make marvellous things happen. But it all comes from taking the action initially, doesn't it? There you go. That's my homily for the day. Anything else to say? No, I don't think so. Oh, Phoebe's my episode 2 of the V-Zine's out. Episode 3 is already edited because Phoebe's on her way to Wales for a weekend in Wales with her chums, as you would say. And that's my week, really. It's been creative, fun, exciting, and action-packed.
I need to make a confession here that I will never be able to watch the V-Zine because it's too long for me. I'm so sorry. 18 minutes of video cannot be done by Judith Morgan.
You could just skip to the bloopers at the end. They're the funny bits.
Yeah, well, I'll see.
It's all right. It's all about, I mean, I'm not expecting anyone. My family haven't watched it, I'm sure. But,
well, Phoebe's watched it, hasn't she?
Well, Phoebe spends a lot of time laughing at it and posting in the family group on Facebook the funniest photos, the funniest stills, actually, because when you freeze a video, you get all sorts of strange faces going on.
Yes, indeed you do, don't you? Everybody's got their eyes shut and their mouths open.
Exactly. Pressing on. What's the fire this week?
You go first.
Okay. Throwing myself into, as I said last week, I was looking forward to having done all the tech, just getting into the content creation. And there was a little bit of trepidation when I said that because I wasn't sure if I, would really enjoy it or if it was going to be something that was going to feel like a chore. But I've been churning it out this week. I've done, 6 blog posts, all the stuff for the V-Zine, which in the middle of that there's a section where I talk about something that, hopefully actionable content that will help people. And what else have I done? Lots and lots of Instagram memes and things like that. So I've really, really enjoyed it. And looking, when I was writing this down to talk about today, what we're going to talk about, I was thinking it's about batching time and being in flow, isn't it? It's about doing lots of activities of the same kind together. Makes it much easier rather than stopping and starting.
I think when you're in flow, when you're on a roll, keep going, make more.
Absolutely, get more out.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I'm getting increasingly over Facebook, largely thanks to Donald Trump. So I've been looking for something to use for my Facebook groups, which are the only real reason why I need Facebook. And I investigated something we may have talked about before, I'm not sure, called mobilize.io, which was free up to 100 users, which is more than enough to cover all of my members of all of my Facebook groups. And I got 4 clients to test it with me on Sunday afternoon. What we want is it to be in an app. And they're beta testing their app in March, and we're already in February, with a view to launching it in July and August. So it's not a solution yet, because everybody's required to be at their computer to use it. But it did pass our tests. We found it very user-friendly. It enables me to do things like I could have 3 groups within it and all of my clients separately. So I can contact them as a group or I can contact them as an individual. So they can send a message to the group or to me privately. I could do everything to do with my business in it. So I can email them, they can email me. I mean, you can keep all your client records in there, and it's free for up to 100 people.
Really good.
It is good. It's all about group communications, which is what I use my Facebook's things for.
Well, it's also fulfilling to some degree the functions of a membership site.
Absolutely. If you look at it, it's got lots of potential, and when it's amplified, it'll be even more useful.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I was watching, as I often do, Gary Vee today, and he was doing a fireside chat at Drum magazine, which is a London-based magazine for digital something or others, advertising agencies. And he was saying that, one of the people there owned shopping centres. They had 18 or 19 shopping centres. And they were saying, what one thing would you advise we do? Because obviously shopping centres are going to change from being just retail establishments to being experiences, like a theme park kind of thing. And she was saying, well, one thing do you think we could do? And he said, the same as I'm telling any large corporation to do is get themselves geared up for mobile, even if they're getting 80% of their sales from desktop now. Gear up for mobile. You've got to think about just the people.
I'll tell you what was quite good fun about it, though, is that although its inclination was to send you an email, so you could use it on the computer from within the group, and unless you turned off email settings, it would send you an email for every message, group so you managed to turn those off, that's fine. But the ones I haven't worked out how to turn out yet were when somebody sent me a private message, not a group message. But when a message comes into my email, I can reply to it from my email and it turns up in the group. So that was quite useful. So you get a choice of how to interact with it.
I think it sounds fantastic. I love the name too.
It's very pretty. You will like it. It's pretty. Yeah. It's easy. 2 of my 4 testers, 3 of my 4 testers were quite techie. And they liked it. They said it had the same ease of use as all of the Google suite. And it's got pretty colours, so I can have my groups colour coordinated. It would act like a little, as you say, membership site as well, where they could put up profiles about themselves. And I would never need it for more than 100 people, and it's free for me for that.
Well, that's great, because I did get a reply back from my app developer about asking about your potential app.
Yes.
He said that what you wanted it to do would be a custom build, and it would cost thousands and thousands of pounds.
Okay.
So
that's not necessarily the end of the world, but let me go, because of course you would want an app to reach more than 100 people, but because the 100 people is just the clients. Now, let me just say one more thing about this. What was the one more thing about this? There was something, I know, they were very responsive when I put a message on their Facebook page on Sunday, saying, when will this be an app? And she came back and said, beta testing in February, going live in July and August. Would you like to be one of the beta testers?
Oh, yes.
So I said no to that. I don't want to be one of the beta testers because it isn't a solution I need that soon. And also, my clients are not going to like to move over because they're comfortable on Facebook. So I'm going to have to induce them to go over.
Yeah.
When the time is right. But no, I don't want to be a beta tester. Give it to me when it's ready, and then. But I don't think it's going to be an easy, difficult thing to make into an app, is what I'm saying. But the point is, Mobilise.io were very responsive, and I've already had, communications with them via their Facebook page, even on a weekend.
Yeah, brilliant. I love the name because it obviously is geared towards getting groups of people together to do things.
Well, quite. And so all of those other things we've used, like Basecamp and Trello and Slack and all of that, you could use it like that as well.
Yeah.
And you could use it it's got multiple uses actually of, let's say you're a corporate and you are communicating in-house as well as an external team on something. You can all do that. It's searchable, it's got analytics, got all sorts of things you're going to love.
Well, I can hardly wait for this podcast episode.
I know. I'm surprised you haven't opened up a window, but don't.
No, I'm not, because I can't. Because you'd be able to see me because you can see my screen.
I can. Well, I see you opening up windows all the time.
Would you like to hear about 18 proven ways to enjoy a successful location-independent business and the freedom to live wherever you like? Own It The Summit is a pack of 18 dynamite interview recordings with globally successful entrepreneurs, sharing their secrets of the real laptop lifestyle. We handpicked each of these people to interview to show you how to set yourself free to design your ideal lifestyle, whether working from home or travelling the world, while running a successful virtual business that you absolutely love. Just visit ownitthesummit.com and get your hands on these life-changing recordings today.
Right, now tell us about Client Challenge of the Week.
Okay, so this has come from something I've watched someone else do, who I will talk about in the Who or What's Impressed section. But it's something that often I get so many emails from people because one of my blog posts is about a very well-known multi-level marketing company, and people get disillusioned with them, and they go online looking to see if it really is a scam or if it's just them that's failing at it. And they find my article, and then they come and I outline all the other possibilities. But the one biggest challenge, and I thought this would be good to discuss with you because you've got such a myriad of different kinds of clients, is to have something to sell online. Because in order to make money, you have to have an offer, and the offer has to be about something that people can sell. So I just thought it'd be nice to sort of kick around. You could perhaps run through some of the amazing things that your clients sell, and I could talk about the different ways of creating content effortlessly, and especially in view of the fact that the book that I heard about it from Jacqueline, who was one of our podcast guests last August, and I went away and I rewrote it several times, and I'm still working on it, and then it took me ages to get it onto Amazon because I had this belief in my head, having done it last time, that it was hard work, and it's not. So I think really, let's talk about how to create something to sell, how to create things that are fairly easy and fun and effortless to sell, and go from there.
You start, because I'm not sure I'm following you yet.
Oh, well,
are you saying everybody should have something a thing to sell in addition to their service?
Well, no, I'm not actually saying that, but I do believe that, to be honest. I do believe that if you're a service provider or expert or whatever, it's a good idea to productize some of your expertise or services into easy to buy things, which not only serve a purpose of making you some money, which is largely passive income once you've made it, but also serves to highlight your expertise. But I was thinking, but you've got quite a lot of creator clients, haven't you? You actually make things.
Well, I'm just opened up my first of 2 Facebook groups so I could look through them, make things. Just let me...
Because, there's Amazon shops, there's Etsy shops, there's...
I've never seen anybody make any money on Etsy. I'm sure there are people who make money on Etsy. I'm just scanning through the list here. I mean, majority of people who can write and have a blog have a book, whether it's one they give away or sell. So let's go up that route. So for instance,
we're going to talk about something else in Project Update. So let's steer clear of that for the moment.
What books?
Yeah, well,
yes.
Books
I'm looking here at my first group. I can't think. Most of them sell a service. So what would a chiropractor, for instance, sell as a thing? I expect she has things that people can buy in her practice that help them walk and sit and scratch their own backs and things like that.
So yes, you could sell those online as well. Especially
we're talking about that your thing is we're talking about something to sell online, are we?
Well, ideally, yes, or because most of the people who come online, most of the people who come to me, for example, from that article, don't have any concept of information products, and they don't have an expertise, and they don't have a specialty, and so they're completely stumped as to how to make money online. And how to make money online, you have to start by selling something. So you're either selling information in the way of information products, whichever format that may take, or you're selling a physical thing, or you're selling a product or service. I can't think of any other way.
No. So all of my clients in this group I'm looking at now, by and large, have either got a face-to-face business where people come in for hands-on, or say to Liz's B&B in Austria, where people come and stay the night and get breakfast. Sally, the astrologer, she has a lot of books that people buy as well as her service. So what you're saying is, I think, that somebody who's selling a service who already gives away a free book at the opt-in point might consider creating something digital that goes between their freebie and their client buying their time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going even further back than that, so totally, yes, you should have a funnel of products, which also acts as a marketing funnel. But if you're right at the very beginning and you don't know, how to, most people have got this concept that making money online involves some sort of magic where you set a magic button up on your witebsite and people come and press it and that money happens. Whereas actually online world is just like the offline world. You can't make money offline without having a place for people to come and buy things, and you have to have things that people can buy. And it's the things that people can buy bit that stops a lot of people in their tracks. So I was just thinking, I know you've got painters.
Well, Alice sells prints. You can buy one of Alice's originals at a fair or at her house or studio, and you can buy her prints online at her website. And everybody else either writes books or provides a service.
Okay, so let's talk some of that. There's the chiropractor, as you said, and I had a super yacht skipper as a client who he started to create videos around different elements of being a super yacht skipper. Because he drove who's the bloke, McLaren Sports. He drove his super yacht around the world, and it takes special skills to do that, and it's quite a small but very specialised market. So he went for creating videos, instructional videos on how he does different elements of being a super yacht skipper. And then there was...
Well, I've got two clients who sell instructional videos via Udemy.
Udemy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Udemy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and do reasonably well at it. One quite seasoned and one quite new. And I've got several clients who sell online courses.
So this is just for the benefit of people listening. This all comes under the information product banner. So this is the easiest and biggest way, most common way, I should say, rather than big. It's the easiest because once you've got the product created, it's like when I decided I wanted to put another book on Amazon on Saturday afternoon. I had this book that I'd rewritten, and I was actually giving it away. And so that was easy for me to do it. But I was thinking about it because I've got all these other ideas for books, and they're not created yet. But books are information products as well, aren't they, Judith?
Yeah.
So really, you've got physical products, you've got books, and you've got services and expertise, haven't you? That's sort of the three groups. And everything else you do online leads to an offer to buy one of those things. So how can people who haven't got any clue about affiliate marketing, you sell someone else's products and services. That's actually the way I point people who come to me and they don't have a clue. And, I say to them, have you got any passions or have you got any hobbies? And no. And you think, well, okay, so you're going to have to sell other people's products and services then because you don't have anything yet yourself. And you can learn all the skills required to do that. And then when you do come up with a blindingly brilliant idea in the shower, as we all often do, once you open your mind to this sort of thing, you've then got the skills to be able to go for it, haven't you?
Well, in many respects, if I was an affiliate marketer, I wouldn't bother to come up with my own ideas.
I know, I keep wishing I could just do that.
I would just source fantastic stuff. So going back to... no, I don't want to say that, actually, because it flows confidentiality. But... yesterday, with a one-off client, she told me about a new brilliant idea she'd had over Christmas for a website and a global digital product. And then she said, think of all the other things, or we both said, think of all the other things you could sell to them. And I said, unless they were direct descendants from this, I would sell all the other things via special promotions using an affiliate link. Because why, get involved in shipping anything or creating anything new?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean,
I really think shipping,
as well. So
yeah, and also if it's a fantastic product that one has used and raved about in a blog post, which I do, then it's absolutely a no-brainer to put an affiliate link in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I do make a very nice living from referring all these people who want to get started in affiliate marketing to the person that I recommend for that. So it can be, people think it's little bits of money, affiliate marketing. It's not if you recommend people to something that's higher ticket, and ideally recurring billing is even better.
Well, I think if I was going to be an affiliate marketer, I would spend some time finding that product that, I'd used and was a raving fan of. So that's also a reasonably high ticket item, as you say, so that actually they are all recurring or both, so that then the affiliate commission is something worth having and not little bits of money anymore.
Yeah, and with the Amazon they pay 5%, whereas most of good affiliate programs will pay 50%. James Franco started his career just by selling one product through an affiliate link.
I know, he told us that on the interview.
He did, yeah. And then he had to switch to other things, but he learnt the skills by then. Something else that comes to mind, Judith, I was talking the other day to someone who came to me by quite a circuitous route, and she got my attention because she said she had access to a database of 300,000 people who were buyers. They were customers of a big corporate, and this big corporate was just selling them one thing, and for about €50, so it wasn't too cheap. And she wanted to know how she could help this corporate, because she was being paid on the retainers, come up with ideas, how she could help this corporate make more money. And, she's biz dev, I suppose, business development role. And I gave her 4 ideas, the final one of which was, she said, I don't think they'll want to pay my fee for much longer. And I said, well, in that case, if you're being paid a fee, you give them these first 3 ideas. If you're not being paid a fee, let's give them idea number 4, which was that you put an offer on the thank you page of the thing that they're buying. So they're buying this thing, I can't remember exactly what it was some sort of information pack for €50, and on the thank you page you put an offer for something that you have sourced, and they come through, they opt into your email list, and then you have a whole string of emails offering them related products that you have checked out, that you've verified are good products, and you're building an income. And
would she split the revenue with the company?
Yeah, that's absolutely the idea. So she would give the company an affiliate link to her shopping cart / mailing list.
Yeah.
And then she would know how much of her income was coming from that company.
Yeah.
And then my brain exploded, because I thought she could then go out and find other corporates that are selling just one thing, and put this proposal to them in a dual package. Either they pay her a fee to set it up in house, or they basically.
I much prefer the second one.
So do I.
Yeah, much prefer the second one, and it's replicable.
But also, if you're listening to this and you don't have something to sell, just having the knowledge of how to do this makes you a really valuable person.
Well, also JVs, the chutzpah to go and propose something to somebody like that who's a one-trick pony.
Yeah. Well, we know that there was an internet marketer who shall remain nameless, who actually made his reputation on doing joint ventures with big corporates like this. And don't underestimate, these corporates are clueless about funnel building and, segmentation, list segmentation. I mean, she'd never heard of list segmentation when I talked about it. She said the problem is we don't know whether these people that are buying this package are in jobs or business owners or whatever. She said, we made an assumption about who they were, and it turns out they're something completely different. And I said, well, it's very easy to get them just after they've bought to answer a quick tick the box survey about which category of person they are, and then you can segment the list and sell appropriate stuff to them. And it was only when I was listening to myself talking about it, I thought, just having knowledge that other people value is enough to have a product. It's like having a product to sell, isn't it?
Well, it is my product.
Yeah, totally. So then, it's been one of those weeks really where I've just been realising how valuable what we know is, and how sad it is that so many people don't grasp the potential for earnings.
Well, I think all they are is behind us, Nicola. I think everybody catches up with everything sooner or later, and I think our difficulty and our brilliance is that we're so ahead all the time because it just takes the world so long to catch up.
I know. Well, I hope this section's been a little bit inspirational, and you know if you're listening that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to write it up. What have we talked about? I've written down here selling your first thing online. Is that it? Is that what we talked about?
No, it's all the different things you can sell online.
You first of all, you always gave us 3 to begin with, and then you added on the 4th, which was affiliates.
Yeah. So it's your own products and services, other people's products and services, or how to information products.
Yeah.
And then the 4th one is affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
Which is other people's products and services.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe the same one then. 2 and 4. Is 2 and 4 the same one?
I don't know. It might be until I see it written down.
Number 2 is other people's products and services, and number 4 is affiliate marketing. That's the same thing, isn't it? There's only 3 then. Good.
Yeah, okay. I like 3s.
Yes, I like 3s. So I just have to cross off 2 now, though. So my list goes 1, 3, 4. That's annoying, isn't it?
I'm sure you'll tidy it up, Judith.
I will. I'm just telling you what it's like to live my life.
Yeah. It's a lot tidier than mine. That's for sure.
Well, there's that.
So it's about how not having something to sell is not something that should stop you in your tracks, because it's very. Once you start to wrap your head around all the possibilities, the problem is deciding what to sell. Once you realise how many things there are.
Okay, so not having anything to sell doesn't need to hold you back making money online.
No, totally.
Not having anything to sell. Okay.
I'm sure you'll knock it into something a little more search engine friendly.
Well, I'm just trying to work out what we've talked about. That's the funny thing. It doesn't need to hold you back. Okay.
Well, we'll get feedback from our lovely listeners in the Own It the Podcast private Facebook group, I'm sure. Word of the week, then.
Mine is should.
Okay.
Please don't tell me to do anything involving the use of the word should.
Like in saying you should do this.
Yeah, just don't do it. Okay, I've written a blog post on it. You'll read it later.
Oh, okay.
I'm angry about people shoulding. Don't do it. It's poor use of the English language, and it makes rebels hate you.
It immediately sets up resistance, doesn't it?
Oh God, my hackles are up the very minute. Yeah.
Throws you into as cognitive behavioural therapy would call it, rebellious teenager.
Well, and you'll see when you read my blog post on the topic, I resigned a job over it. A very lucrative one. Yes, I did.
Did you get very stampy feet about it?
Well, it's just not a good way to communicate with people, isn't it? Telling them they should feel or think or anything.
No, have you considered it?
Well, I mean, there's so many different ways of saying it.
Yeah.
I give in my blog post, I give illustrations of other ways to say it.
Good. Oh, look forward
anyway, that's my word. It's my word to avoid. Don't tell people to should.
Right. My word is creativity, which I've probably used before, but I'm exploding with it this week. Everyone, it's everywhere. I don't know, it must be that Mercury going out of retrograde or whatever it's called. But I feel very, very excited all the time.
Mercury has nothing to do with creativity. It's all about communications.
Project updates, the podcast.
Yes, go.
Well, part of what's happened to me this week with the book thing is made me realise how many assets I'm sitting on, and potentially we are sitting on, in terms of, getting stuff out there into the world in the way that's easy and fun. And I wondered if we were going to talk about possibly releasing our summit interviews as a book.
Yes. Now, tell me something about this, because I've been trying to, on Monday, well, I will share with the listeners that over the weekend you sent me a brain fart where you were clearly excited about the possibility of turning our 18 interviews into a book. But it wasn't until Monday morning, and even then you didn't answer all my questions, but it wasn't until Monday morning that you sent me a very coherent business case for why we might do it, with something that put me off slightly. So what I'd like to know is this: if your current recommendation is that we turn 18 hour-long interviews into 3 books of 6 interviews each. Am I right there?
Yes.
And that the transcription cost of an hour-long interview would be $60.
Yes.
So 6 sixes of $360 is the transcription cost of the first book.
Sorry, say again?
6 interviews.
Yeah.
6 times 60 is $360.
Okay.
Is the transcription cost of the first book.
Yes, gotcha.
How much would the first book sell for?
In the region of £9.99, say £7.50.
So that's a book, yes?
Yeah, that's
£7.50. And what do Amazon take out for £7.50?
Don't know. Not much.
You think they do? It depends on which system you've gone for, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Well, anyway, we lose a percent. I mean, and the Kindle wouldn't sell for as much, would it? It would sell for £3 or something.
Yeah, £3.
So we would lose on the Kindle. You lose VAT at 23% and Amazon's percentage. So we need to work out how much of it we would make, and then I can tell you that therefore the transcription cost is £285 divided by say £2.50. You'd have to sell quite a lot of books. 285 divided by £2.50. You have to sell 114 copies of the first book to get your transcription costs back. And I'm not going to reveal how few numbers of books one needs to sell to be an Amazon bestseller, but suffice to say, that is a sum worth considering for you and me and us and the listener.
Yes. What's the sum we're considering?
How few books it takes to become an Amazon.
Well, if you pick your categories right, it can be 26, because I proved that with the business success.
Correct. All right, so 26. But you need to sell 3 times that to make your transcription costs back on the first one of our book alone.
Yeah, but getting to number 1 helps you sell more. Because you're shown next to other things, and
Yes, but you've got another one. You've got another one. The book you just told us about that sold 26 copies. That's surely the definition.
Hang on, back up. It sold 26 copies in the first week to get to Amazon bestseller status. It's been selling steadily ever since.
Well, all I want you to know is that you've got to work out how much you're making on each book and divide it into the transcription cost to see how many copies you might sell to make the whole exercise worthwhile. That is the beginning and the end of my input on this. Now, I'm about to write a blog post today called Invisible Wins, because everything isn't necessarily about the profit you make on one book. It's about the fact that you've now got half a dozen books up there, and if you do the Business Success Factory interviews, how many interviews you got there? 150?
Oh, yes, I've got 120 actually.
Right, so 120 divided by 6, you've got another 20 books there if you want it out of the Business Success Factory interviews.
Yeah, that's exactly.
You've got 3 out of mine, and suddenly, you haven't got 6 books on Amazon, you've got
20 or 30, something like that.
30 books on Amazon. And what I do wonder is whether if you've got 30 books on Amazon, you sell more or less, or whether there's some other advantage of perception of being prolific.
Oh, there totally is. I mean, basically, if you can hit the bestseller in anything, you can now call yourself an Amazon #1 bestseller, which gives you a lot of credibility when it comes to speaking engagements.
And my point is, it shouldn't. It shouldn't, if all it means is a fairly small number of sales.
But nobody knows that unless they've actually done it.
I know that, and I can't sell anything based on inauthenticity.
Well, okay, so let's back up. If you're going for a speaking gig, and there's you who can say you're an Amazon bestseller, and someone else who hasn't got a book or can't say they're a bestseller, who's going to get the speaking gig?
Well, as soon as it's out in the world, how few copies it takes to sell to be an Amazon bestseller, nobody.
Yeah, but that's not where we're at right now, is it? And
well, it's where I'm at permanently, which is it's bogus.
See, you're really. I'm working very hard not to get upset about this, because I don't feel I'm being bogus.
I'm not suggesting you're being bogus. I'm suggesting Amazon. The expression "an Amazon bestseller" is bogus, and actually, I think most people know that now.
Okay, well, let's go back to the very fact that you've got a published book, which is something that most people perceive to be hard work. And
all right, so you've got 6 of those already. Do you want to? Is this all about wanting to add another 26 to that? And if so, do you think doing that? I'm just trying to. At the weekend when you had the brain fart, I was asking you a question so I could understand what was in your brain. Okay, I'm still trying to understand what is in your brain, and I think it's not just me that needs to understand it; it's benefit to the listeners. Before we pay $360 in transcription costs, what are the benefits that you perceive?
Well, apart from the fact that I'm still, we did that as a labour of love because we wanted people to know what it was like to live beyond the laptop lifestyle. And I think that those interviews have got a great value that great value is not being shared with enough people because we're selling it in audio format.
I agree with you. Let me tell you to the extent to which I agree with you there. I think we did accidentally create phenomenal content. Where I don't agree with you is if you'd said to me in advance, do you want to create this as a labour of love? I would have said no. I created it because I thought it was an opportunity for us to make some money. And, money isn't at the bottom of everything I do, but it's at the bottom of every question I ask myself before I do anything.
Yeah. So if we had the book of the interviews, then we could promote in the book the audio packs.
Yes, and you did say that to me in writing, and I get that, and that's good.
So that's another thing about books is not only do they give you extra credibility and authority, but they are a marketing method in themselves in that you can bring people to they're a traffic generator for your website and your offers. That we just worked out all these things that you can have to sell. You have to have a way to get people to come to your website to buy the damn things. And that is as good a way as any as bringing traffic to your website. Someone who's bought your book and read it and enjoyed it and got value from it is quite likely to come and check out your website. Especially if you've got a whacking great advert in your book for a product that they can buy.
And also, it might work the other way around, which is people that have liked the book might start to listen to the podcast, which is one of our goals.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. It's got a lot of marketing benefits having a book. Beyond the actual money that you make.
I totally agree with you about that. And, writing the book's the easy bit. Any old idiot can write a book. Because, in fact, all we're doing in this case is transcribing interviews where we talk to people. But it's the marketing of the book. I don't see many people make meaningful sums of money on books they've self-published.
Well, there is a chap that was interviewed as one of Anthony Tilley's experts on his solopreneur show recently called Kevin Long. And if anyone's listening, I would highly recommend you go and listen to that episode because, it's a right tearjerker, Judith. I mean, he has had property investor as well. He's had the most incredible ups and downs in his life to the point where I was, nearly in tears listening to him. It's got a triumphant outcome because he's now got a business that he helps people not only become Amazon authors, but become bestsellers in many countries, not just England. And in fact, he's done that for Anthony. I'm going to talk about him later on. But he's helped something like 237 people become Amazon bestsellers. And now we know, that's not as awesome as it sounds. But some of those people are making money. They must be. Like Dan Priestley, #1 in entrepreneurship for months and months and months now with his oversubscribed book. You're not telling me that he's not making money from his 3 or 4 books on Amazon. He must be.
And he might be leveraging it.
Yeah. The point is that I can't remember the point now. What was the point?
No.
Whether we should do it or not.
Well, I'm not against doing it. It's just I just always need to understand everything, and I didn't understand anything from the original brain part. And we're still in experimental space here because what we're saying is, if we pay to have the interviews transcribed and we turn them into books, and there's paperback books and Kindle books, and we put them up on Amazon and we offer them for sale. It might create some income from book sales. The book itself might mean that some people want to buy the interviews to listen to them. And it might bring some more people to the podcast party.
Or effective websites.
That's not one of my goals anymore, you see. But all of these things are mights. And as with so many things in business, you don't know until you give it a go.
Well, I'm going to give it a go with 5 or 6 of the Business Success Factory interviews. And it's a really similar format in that I was interviewing experts and we've got some great names and, we had some great names and so did I. So I think that it will be a good test for me. It could be my star profile part of me that loves having books on Amazon. It could be, just the very fact of, that I had to pay for my own English O level. It's like, I really get a thrill out of the fact that I've got any book anywhere. But I hope not. It might be the creative that just wants to keep churning new things out. I don't know, Judith, is the answer.
I think one of your points that you made is a good one, which is those interviews are an asset and they are underexploited.
Yeah, totally. as a tool and as a piece of information.
Yeah, and many people might prefer to read it than listen to it.
Yeah. In fact, if we take it that a third of the people are audio, only a third of people are audio, we're missing out on 2/3 of the population, really.
Potentially. I think my key thing with sticking the book on Amazon, and I am the woman that has read and studied Ryan Deiss's How to Do It materials more than once, is that actually writing the book and banging it up on Amazon is the easy bit. It doesn't guarantee any sales unless you market the knickers off it once it's up there.
Well, okay, let's not underestimate the power of key phrases here, because the book I put up on Saturday is already being shown next to other books of its kind. So if you go to look at, say, Anthony Tilley's Solopreneur Show book, which is the thing that gave me the inspiration to put the book on in the first place, I'm being shown next to that when you see his book. So there is
Nicola, if that results in sales, what do you do?
Yeah.
But being shown next to it alone doesn't do anything. It doesn't like my candle at all. If it results in sales, my candle is well and truly lit.
I'll tell you what I'll do, Judith. I'll go and have a look in a minute to see how many sales I've made in both categories, and I'll report back to you. But
okay, I think the even more interesting test is the 6 interviews from the Business Success Factory.
Yeah.
Then after that, live in this section on the podcast, an even more interesting test is what can we do if we put 6 of our interviews in the book format?
Yeah, and this has been an interesting conversation actually, because I've brought the creativity head rush to it, and you've brought the how to analyse whether it's worth spending any of our time on.
It was so head rushing over the weekend that I didn't even understand a word of it. And the extraordinary thing is, I know your brain quite well because I've worked with it for a decade. And even that, I found it completely impenetrable. What is she on? And so, actually, I'm going to make a special request. Don't do the brain fart anymore. Send me, during office hours, like you did on Monday morning, when you return to coherence on Monday morning, send me only the reasoned business argument.
Okay. All right.
Brain farts are us. They're in our past now.
No, I can't say I won't do brain farts anymore.
Well, it just actually was annoying because I kept asking you clarifying questions and you would answer 1 out of my 3, and I would ask, what about the other 2? And you would answer 1 out of those 2, and then I'd ask again. And actually what I think I'll do is I'll ignore you at weekends or evenings.
Yeah, good idea.
And then I'll just send an email on Monday morning saying, could you send me the reasoned business case for that, please?
Yeah, okay, I promise.
Now, I am going to write a blog post later today called Invisible Wins, because, it isn't always the obvious win. Because actually, we might sell 1 copy of that book to somebody who loves it so much that they offer you or me or both of us an opportunity that we wouldn't have got otherwise. So I am prepared to keep an open mind here, but I just wanted I would like to look at some sums as well. I would like to know, for instance, on the one you've banged up now, how much are Amazon taking on both the Kindle and the paperback version, and I will account for the VAT on the Kindle version as well.
Okay, all right.
Then I can say, right, in order to pay back the 285 quid's worth of transcription costs, we need to sell X number of books. And then we can look at your other coterie of books, your cupboard full of books, and see how many they've sold, and see what you did to sell that number, and see whether we're going to do that to sell that number of this. And then all we've done is break even.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome to your business partner, the accountant.
I was just thinking, yes, that slowed my momentum right down.
Yes, exactly. The joys of partnership, Nicola. Yin and yang.
Yeah. Where has that woman gone that used to email me at weekends with brain farts?
Well, I'm over it, because actually there's no profit in it.
No profit in brain farts.
No.
Quote for the week.
Yeah, no profit in brain farts. That is a good quote for the week.
What's impressed you then?
Well, a client drew my attention to, you remember how much we all loved Daphne's book? I think,
yes.
I haven't read this one, but I think I found another one that we might like in the same way. And there's something for you, which is that first-person inspirational story idea. And her name is Amanda Owen. Her book is called The Yorkshire Shepherdess. She's a shepherdess in Yorkshire with 9 children and 1,000 sheep.
Good.
And she's so far away from the hospital, she stopped going to hospital to deliver her own children. And the last one, or the second to last one, she just did it by herself while her husband was asleep at home.
I think I might have seen this woman on television.
Yeah, she was on breakfast television. You probably saw the little thing on Facebook. But why I liked her, apart from being, born of stern stock, is this quote: "I decide what's important every day and get on with it."
That's nice.
So the man and woman on the sofa on breakfast television, I don't know their names because I never watch daytime television. It's an abhorrence to me. But, we're quizzing her to try and find, because she was so strange. You live in the middle of nowhere, you deliver your own children. You're a shepherdess for starters. Who's got 9 children in this day and age? How on earth do you manage? And write a book as well. And she said, "I decide what's important every day and I get on with it." Well, there's a woman after our own heart.
Also, once you get beyond a certain number of children, the older ones look after the younger ones.
Well, I don't know that that's true, but presumably look after the sheep, some of them.
No.
Well, if she's got 9, the oldest must be at least 9, and that's old enough to look after sheep after school. If you live in the Yorkshire Dales, trust me, I don't know that you can go to school.
Schools a lot.
Yeah, they probably don't go to school because if if the hospital's 2 hours away, how far away is the school?
Yeah, she's homeschooling him in amongst all of that.
I don't think she is. God, I hope she isn't. But anyway, there you go. Who or what's impressed? The woman that delivers her own children and looks after 1,000 sheep in the middle of Yorkshire called Amanda Owen.
Well, I look forward to reading that. Who or what's impressed me is completely the opposite end of the scale is Anthony Tilley, who has, since November, have made a plan and executed it above and beyond. I mean, I've been astonished to watch this. I knew Anthony vaguely before, and he was a solo ads seller, so he had a list and traffic, and he used to be able to buy 100 clicks off him, 300 clicks off him, 500 clicks off him. But he found that wasn't enough because people who were buying his clicks didn't then go on to be successful, because we all know it's not just about the traffic, it's about the funnel on the back end. Anyway, so he decided to move into coaching, and he paid me to do some Facebook ads for his new coaching program, but he hadn't tested anything, so they didn't go so well. But he was one of those clients that didn't blame me for that. He blamed the fact that he hadn't tested his funnel first. So we carried on being in touch and friends, and distant friends on Facebook or whatever. Anyway, when I moved here, he wanted to interview me for his new podcast, and I get loads of questions like that all the time. I always say yes because I really enjoy it. The first time round didn't go so well. I think we went through the whole hour and his recording equipment at his end didn't work. He was absolutely mortified. I didn't mind so much because I'll talk for another hour about myself.
Do you want to talk for 1 hour about yourself or 2? Oh, I think I'll go for the 2 option. Thank you.
And it was only when I pitched up, I think I hurled myself out of bed on the second one because I actually forgot about it until things started pinging at me.
Yes,
and I hurled myself out of bed and scraped a brush through my hair. And I think I was actually sitting there in my dressing gown, but I had a shawl around me or something. I wasn't looking my most glamorous, put it that way. But it was a video interview because he had worked out an entire business plan based on video interviewing people, either I know you'd hate it, in person or using a nifty bit of kit like Zoom where it splits the screen. And then he would edit the interviews and take out the audio, and he would put the audio into a podcast which went onto iTunes, and he would put the edited version of the video onto YouTube. So it's already on 2 platforms. It then gets shared across all social media. The call to action on this whole thing was to come and join a private Facebook group where you could get access to the uncut interviews, either in video format or in audio format. What we didn't know, but that was good enough. That was good enough for a good start for a new business. But what he was actually doing was even more clever than that. He was getting it all transcribed. He was then creating a membership site where he put the uncut version of the video, the uncut version of the audio for download, and the transcriptions. And for a low monthly fee, you can join this membership site. And then what he was doing was he was taking the main 3 points or lessons he learned out of each interview, and he was then creating 3 little instructional videos about why he felt those were the most important points from each interviewee. So he's already got a podcast, a YouTube channel, lots of social media content. He's becoming an expert by being interviewing experts. So what's that called? Halo effect, where you position yourself next to other experts. And he's created a membership site, which is a recurring income. Then he puts the book of the transcriptions onto Amazon, and it goes straight to number 1, number 3, number 5, UK, US, Canada, Australia, whatever. It's doing really, really well, which immediately gives him, the impression of success. And it makes it easier to get other podcast interviewees, because obviously now everyone is banging his door down to appear on this podcast. And the thing that impressed me most about it, I mean, he's got Robert Kiyosaki, for heaven's sake, in the next few interviews. So the ironic thing is he's gone from number 1 interview, which was me, to number 10 interview, which is Robert Kiyosaki. He's, the kudos he has gained from just executing a really good plan really, really well, and not suffering from procrastination and fear and oh my God, is it going to work? Should I invest in this? He's worked his arse off since November to here, and in 3 months he's created a really bang on business. I'm so impressed with him, I can't tell you. Went into a rant there, didn't I?
Yes, and you've done a lot of those things over the years yourself, and we've done several of them. I'm wondering why
because
you think, or he thinks that his has worked better.
Well, because we haven't done all of those things all at the same time within such a focused time frame. It's got like a, what's the word I'm looking for? A synergistic effect. He's got a new book, a new podcast. He's got lots of social media. He's interviewing experts. They're recommending.
Yes, and he's only doing the one thing, which I like as well. And of course, we're not.
No, exactly. He's focusing 100% on this thing, which he's now then leveraging in a very short space of time across a lot of different platforms. Mm. And I'm just seriously impressed with the focus and the execution of it. That's what's impressed me about it. Not the fact that he's done a podcast or got a membership site. It's the fact he's done it all together very professionally within 3 months.
Yeah, he had a nice big plan.
Yeah, he did, and he's executed on it. I mean, where his plan came from, I've got no idea, but I'm really impressed with it. So, well done, Anthony.
Yes, well done, Anthony.
Okay, that's us done then. I think we've got slightly over, but by the time I read things out,
marvellous.
Where you disagree with me, I will be coming under an hour.
Don't you should anything on me, Nicola. Okay?
I wouldn't dare.
Good.
See you later.
Okay, bye.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.